Hi guys, straighten my hair out. Let's have a look. Hi Nancy. I don't know what's going on. This is the monthly. All right, you guys are having a chat. Okay. Hi guys. Let's have a look. Hi Nancy. Okay. Morning. Welcome to Defending Elvis. How's everyone going? Got me cup of tea? Oh, hi Deborah. You're up in the middle of the night. Deborah, what time is it where you are? So welcome to Defending Elvis, guys. Sorry for anyone had to wait. Hi Luann, how are you? Hi Lorna. Now I haven't told anyone I'm live. I'll just quickly. Shall I just quickly put it on our Facebook? How is everyone? All right. Okay. So I've spent the whole morning learning about the Stanleys, mainly David. I have done a bit on D. Stanley. Now I will never ever play D. Stanley's trash video ever. I won't even say what's on the topic. But we are gonna discuss D. Stanley on a different video because there's some different videos of her in interviews discussing Elvis. So I want to discuss that. But not today. D. Stanley will be another day. Once we got through with the David Stanley topic, we are going to thoroughly go into the Rick Stanley topic. We're going to do David, Rick, D, and then lastly, we're going to do Billy Stanley. We're going to do all four. I want to be as fair as I can to all four of them. I'll be honest with you guys. At the moment, the only one I've got anything good to say about is Billy Stanley. I don't really have anything good to say about Dave or Rick or D. Sorry, but so these lives are going to be pretty serious. But in the name of defending Elvis, yeah, Elvis deserves better. Elvis is worth it. In the name of trying to repair some of the damage to his reputation. I mean, the more I've done a lot of research in the last few days concerning Dave Stanley. And the more I go into it, the more uncomfortable I feel. Even the movie that he made, so actually Angie sent me the CD, but you can pay $1.99 and watch it on David's so-called how do I say it? There is a lot of effort from David, all geared up to making money. A lot. We're talking serious effort here, at the cost of Elvis and his dignity and his reputation. Now, David will say the nice, sweet stories about Elvis. He will. But they all do. Priscilla does. They all say the nice, sweet story. Priscilla will tell you thousands of stories that are very sweet about Elvis, but then she'll trash him again and again. Some of the stories that Priscilla says are actually made up. They're actually made up stories. Just, everything we say on this show is opinions only, just for entertainment purposes. Now, one thing that stands out to me when I'm listening to David Stanley, when he was going through those years at the end, towards the end of Elvis's life, with Elvis, he was on heroin. He was addicted to heroin and cocaine. Seriously, guys, did any of you know that? Let me know in the comments. Did any of you know that at the end of Elvis's life, that David Stanley was seriously addicted to heroin and cocaine? Because this really concerns me. This makes me go, Well, how clear could have your memories been? The stories you're sharing about Elvis that are quite negative. Yeah, hi Nancy. I think a lot of people knew, but it must affect his memories, his judgment of Elvis, that those last few years. It must do. Yeah. 100% Elvis would have not wanted him to take heroin and cocaine. Yeah. We know that Elvis eventually, because he was so sick, needed a lot of prescribed medication, prescription medication, some call it. But he really was sick. He really was sick. Elvis was extremely unwell. Yeah. Elvis was determined that whatever medication he took was prescribed in a bottle with his name on it by a doctor, maybe by more than one doctor. Elvis felt that if it came from a doctor, it's going to be okay. Now, we know that obviously there may have been abuse, there may have been self-medication. Elvis eventually his health declined massively towards the end. But I always think Elvis's intention was always good. He was in a lot of pain. He was in a lot of discomfort. He needed energy. He definitely 100% could not sleep. 100% could not sleep. So he massively needed help to sleep. And then you've got all the different health issues, you know, the constipation, the colon problems, even a rumor of colon cancer. Bone cancer is another one, isn't it? Just a man who was going through hell. It's funny because I saw a thing the other day that even towards the end, he went to get his ingrowing toenail fixed. He did a plane journey for that. This man had serious pain problems, discomfort. Could you imagine being Elvis at the end when everything was in pain? So of course Elvis took painkillers and tried any medication from his doctors, who may have overprescribed, to try and get through the day so he had the energy to be there for his fans on these tours, in these concerts. Elvis just was trying to get through one day at a time in the end, I think. I really feel that. But I also think that Elvis was optimistic and hopeful for the future. I believe Ginger Alden when she says Elvis was trying to look forward. Obviously, he attended her grandparents' funeral. That speaks volumes to me. Yeah. So when I hear David Stanley, who seems hell bent on saying that Elvis committed suicide and knew what he was doing, planned the end of his life. And Dave Stanley says it again and again and again for years. Doesn't just say it once or twice. He says it for years. Now, some people have told me that Dave Stanley apologized for doing this, but it's not good enough because he did it again and again and again. Dave Stanley always found a way of reinventing himself and a new way to write a new book, a new way to change his storyline, a new way to try and win over the fans, to try and get public approval, to try and come across as the poor victim. Priscilla does this. Priscilla does this. So, guys, we're going to be here a long time today. I'm doing 2 shows here now. And then I'm going to do another 2 shows. One on the Keto channel, one on the Elvis Presley Long Lost Footage. I've got a free day today. And I am dedicating today to exposing David Stanley. Dedicating today. Now, I think it was Joanne sent a comment, and she lists the different books that David Stanley wrote. Quite a few books, guys. Quite a few books. I'm just see if I can see it on here. I did try and take a picture of the titles of all these books that Joanne was so kind to let me know. I may have even posted it on the Facebook. I don't know if you've noticed, guys, our Defending Elvis Presley Facebook page is just booming. So I am posting a lot of stuff on there at the moment, and it's mainly the comments from you guys, from Team Elvis. Whenever you guys give me a comment that really grabs my attention, that I think is very good, that really defends Elvis, that is just beautifully written, I post it on the Defending Elvis Facebook page so that you guys can read it and comment on it. So please do read these comments, yeah, on the Defending Elvis Facebook page. Please join it. So I'm just trying to see if I can find Joanne's comment. Dave Stanley really has been milking the tree, not tree, milking the cow of the books massively, yeah. Even the whole Westgate thing, where he has a residency at Westgate, just because he knew Elvis. He grew up with Elvis, just because Elvis helped him. He seems obsessed. David Stanley seems obsessed with the death of Elvis. The drugs, the pills, the prescription medication, the last few days, the last few hours of Elvis's life. David Stanley is obsessed with it. It's the main theme of what he discusses. So he'll tell the lovely stories, but then he always goes back into detail about the last few hours of Elvis, the last days of Elvis. This has completely consumed the last 30 years of his life, I think. Really obsessed with the death of Elvis. Not enough of talking about Elvis's beautiful life, how good Elvis was. Elvis really did have an amazing life and did so much good for the world. And Dave Stanley seems to just want to highlight the drugs. Now, he's on a crusade. He has been for decades. His way of making money, guys, of giving himself a luxurious life, is to say that he's helping people. He's exposing the problems of fame and fortune and drugs to help people. He's a motivational speaker. Drugs is his main topic. Drugs is his main topic. The problems with drugs. At the expense of Elvis. At the expense of Elvis. This is what really upsets me. He has made his life mission to trash Elvis again and again and again. Hundreds of times, I would say. Elvis is his example of telling these teenagers or in these motivational speeches why you should avoid drugs. Of course, 100% we should avoid drugs. 100%. Of course. It's just, drugs have done so much damage in our world and still do. But who is the person, the person at the center of all that? The person that, oh, here's my example. Elvis, my stepbrother, who gave me everything. So when you listen to Dave Stanley, you get the feeling of Elvis was just all about the drugs, all about addiction. Yeah? It's sort of, it sickens me. It sickens me. If I was Elvis, and I was looking down on Dave Stanley, who I had literally looked after for decades, you know, for 17 years, David Stanley says, but I'm sure it was less than that. It would have been on and off, wouldn't it, guys? The Stanleys do tend to love to remind people the amount of years they spent with Elvis, but it was on and off. They had fallings out. It wasn't straightforward. They didn't have a perfect relationship, and then Elvis died. There was problems. So when I hear any of the Stanleys discuss their life with Elvis, and they grew up with Elvis, and they saw things that we could never have seen with Elvis, that we could never dream of. When they discuss their life about how fortunate they were, how special it was to live and work closely to Elvis. Because I keep hearing it again and again. Yeah, seriously, guys. I keep hearing it again and again. There's almost a reminder of... There's a reminder. Oh, I grew up with Elvis, so I know better. I was there, you weren't. I really get a sense of that. I'm above you because I was there. You have no right to have an opinion because I was there, you weren't. You weren't his stepbrother, so I know better. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. The things that have been said by the Stanleys, all of them, every one of them, but today we're focusing on David. The negative things, yeah, not the good things, because they all said good things, just like Priscilla did. But the things that have been said again and again by the Stanleys for decades are very cruel to Elvis. A real injustice to Elvis. Yeah, they've turned what a very sick man who did have a problem with prescribed medication, a serious problem. The reasons are very complicated, but he did have extreme health problems, chronically sick. Elvis was chronically sick. They've turned that into a job. David Stanley's job is preaching to the world that drugs is bad at the cost of Elvis's image and reputation. By harming Elvis's image and reputation. Oh, let's save people from a drug addiction using Elvis's name. They've used Elvis's name. Now, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because I see the good of helping people that have got drug problems, helping people avoid drugs. I see the good in that. But I also see the damage that has caused to Elvis, to his image and reputation. He has been trashed again and again and again and again and again. And whilst it's all happening, these people are making money. Whilst it's all happening, the Stanleys are making money. Obviously, Rick's not here now, but whilst he was alive, he made money again and again and again, trashing Elvis. But he also said good things. So does Dave, so did Billy. You know, we know that Billy, I've said it to you many, many times. Billy has apologized, and Billy did write this beautiful book. I love this book. But we're not going to delete the past like it didn't happen. We still want, as fans, to jump in and defend Elvis. So I've spent the morning going through everything, and I get sicker and sicker the more I go into it. So I wanted to, first of all, start this morning by playing a very nice video that just praises Elvis. To remind these people, to remind them, you didn't have to just grow up with Elvis or be his stepbrother to know how great he was, how good he was, how lovely he was, how decent he was. So let's play. We're going to read your comments. We're going to read your comments, and then we're going to start dishing the dirt out and defending Elvis. So I'll be straight with you guys. I'm not happy with Dave Stanley. I'm very unhappy with him. Yeah, I think he's used and abused Elvis's name for too long. I think he's had a luxurious life for way too long at the cost of Elvis's dignity and reputation, and he should be ashamed of himself. You know, he tries to play the saint. Oh, look, the good I'm doing. I'm a motivational speaker now. But he'll happily do an interview a few weeks ago praising Priscilla, looking forward to her new book that's coming out. Now, we know that something happened, didn't it, with the skinny dipping in the pool, in the swimming pool at his apartment. So it ain't right, and Elvis deserves better. Elvis deserves better. Right, so let me just read some comments. I'm not in a rush, guys. We're going to gradually go through this topic. We've gone through some pretty tough topics recently, and I keep saying it. Why is Elvis trashed mostly by his own family and friends? And why? How is that right? How is it right that Elvis is mostly trashed by people that were close to him? For money. For money. Yeah, Nancy says Elvis had 33 sleeping pills and 30 shots. Isn't it? And do you know what? True or not? Why does his stepbrother have to be the one that says it? And he says it for money. On these old interviews, he would have been paid. In these books, paid. In these motivational speeches, paid. Documentaries, biographies, paid. In that movie they made, paid. He's made a very, very good living off the back of Elvis, off the back of trashing Elvis, and constantly reminding us that Elvis was an addict. It's disgusting, guys. It's disgusting. It sickens me. Family, friends, people close to Elvis should be doing the opposite. They shouldn't be making a living trashing Elvis. They should be making a living praising Elvis, which now Billy Stanley does do. His book, The Faith of Elvis, he defends Elvis, regularly. Yeah. I'm a little bit worried about the fact that now Billy and Dave have got together and they want to write a book. I think it's Elvis and the Boys. Is that the name of the Stanley's new book that's going to come out, or movie? Is it a movie? Elvis and the Boys. Well, if David Stanley's involved, does that mean that they're going to focus on Elvis's drug problems, prescribed medication problems? It's one thing to tell lots of cute little stories. It's another thing to then add to those stories and trash Elvis. We can all say beautiful stories, can't we? I can do it now. I could tell you 10 nice stories now about Elvis, the good that he did. Then I can trash him at the end of the story. So I'm worried about Billy Stanley and Dave Stanley's project, Elvis and the Boys, in case they trash Elvis. So we worry as fans. We as fans have the right to defend Elvis and Lisa Marie and the bloodline, whether or not we grew up with him, whether or not we knew him, whether or not we worked for him. I would say in some ways we have more right. Well, Nancy, David Stanley does talk about his addictions, his addiction to heroin, to cocaine. He does. Which is why I know about it. Remember, we do this as in the name of love for Elvis. Yeah. Now remember, Elvis will want us to forgive. Yes, he'd want to be defended, but then he'd want us to forgive. And that is the aim here. We expose it. We ask for an apology. We ask for these people to show remorse and regret, and then we forgive. That is the plan. It's always to forgive, never from hate. We never do this from hate. Remember, we at Team Elvis, we are forgiving. We are. We have to be. Billy has talked openly about himself being heavily addicted to street drugs. Yeah. I'm going to show you something in a minute. Remember, this is just part 1. I reckon we're going to have about 4 to 5 parts. Just on Dave. Just on Dave. Then we're going to move over to Ricky. Then Dee, then Billy. In that order. That's what I've got in mind. All in the name of defending Elvis, then forgiving. We must forgive. So Debbie says they're all addicts. They're addicted to making money off Elvis. Yeah. Do you know what? Make money off Elvis, but don't trash him. This is my point. Make money off Elvis, but don't trash him. This is a good book. This doesn't trash Elvis. There's not one negative thing in this book about Elvis. It's a beautiful book. It's well worth a read. That's how you make money from Elvis. You don't have to become the guru of addicts, the guru of helping people to not take drugs at the expense of Elvis to make money for yourself. Because ultimately, Dave Stanley, he tries to stand up as this person that's trying to help drug-taking people, prevent people from taking drugs. But he does it to make money. Dave Stanley is clearly doing what he does to make money. To make money. You know, when he calls his events historical events, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These are not historical events, Dave Stanley. You need to rein it in and stop thinking you're something special. You are nothing special. I repeat to you, you are nothing special. You are just a human being that got lucky, very lucky, and Elvis helped bring you and your brothers up. You are very lucky. You are nothing special. You are no better than any one of us. If anything, because you were his stepbrother, you should have known better than to trash him for money for 30 years. So it irritates me that people go, oh, I was there, I know better. Who are you? Who are you? I was there. Bullshit. The fans expect you. The fans expect more from you. More from you. And you've let the fans down big time. You've let Elvis down the most. The person you let down the most is Elvis. And you did it in front of Lisa Marie for decades. You trashed Elvis in front of Lisa Marie for decades. Shame on you. Shame on you. Hi, Joe, man. How are you? How's Joe? Yep. The amount of money they've made is $215 in California, Los Angeles. Right, I'm just going through your comments. So I had a few messages on YouTube. I just want people to know, please don't hold me up as an expert. I had a couple of messages. I deleted them. I'm no expert. I'm no expert. I get my facts right and wrong. So please don't try and tell me off on my own channel. If I make a mistake, if I get my facts wrong, it's not a big deal. Don't jump on it and use it as an excuse to belittle me or put me down. I will just delete the comments. Yeah. We are learning together. We are learning together. We learn, me and Team Elvis, we learn as we go, and we get it wrong, we get it right. We're not researchers. We are not researchers. If I have any comments on my channel trying to tell me off or belittle what we're doing, I will delete you. If you're rude, I will block you as well. I will block any rudeness. So if your comment's been deleted, it's because I'm not happy with what you put in your comment. It's that simple. We are a family. We stick together. Right. So Nancy says, I don't mind watching whatever Billy's doing, but since David's involved, I don't want to know anything about it because David's already trusted him and he's still... Yeah, I mean, with Billy Stanley, I've always took the stance of praising his book. I've always said he's a defender of Elvis, yeah? But we do have a couple of little niggles with Billy because he did unexpectedly tell me to stop reading his book and really was a bit off with me, a bit rude to me, I think. So we still have a beef there with Billy Stanley because we did nothing wrong. We as Team Elvis did nothing wrong. We were very respectful to Billy. We were very kind and friendly and considerate with Billy. We promoted his book happily. We promoted Billy as an Elvis defender. So we didn't deserve the way he treated me. So that will be dealt with in the show that we do concerning Billy Stanley, which we're going to do. We're going to do Ricky, then Dee, then we're going to eventually do Billy at the end. But I will just say Billy's book is beautiful. Yeah. And I recommend this book. And Billy is an Elvis defender. Yeah. So, but that's not for today, guys. So Let's have a look. I think we should only forgive Louis Priscilla. Let's have a look. Sorry, Lorraine. Hi, Lorraine. You're awake then? I think we should. Hang on. Billy Stanley has. No, I'm gonna. Where's the I think we should forgive comment? Let's have a look. Let me just find your comments. Right, here we go. Let's read Lorraine's comment. Now, Lorraine, you must understand. I love you. You're a great researcher, but I don't defend with hate. I don't defend with hate. I defend from love and forgiveness, but I also expose people's wrongdoing. Yeah. If Billy Stanley has turned over a new leaf and not trashing Elvis, why doesn't he tell his brother David to stop trashing Elvis? Why hasn't he told to stop? Well, actually, I don't know if David is still trashing Elvis. Lorraine, I don't know if David is still trashing Elvis. I think he's stopped, hasn't he? David has reinvented himself. Yeah, I don't think David does trash Elvis. So, if you can find me some recent interviews where you see Dave trashing Elvis, please send me them, because I don't think he does now. They've reinvented themselves now as these people. They've just changed their ways. Even Priscilla is doing it. She's changing how she talks about Elvis. She's reinventing a more acceptable version of how to discuss their life with Elvis. They're all doing it with the intention of making money. It's always about making money. So Lorraine says we shouldn't forgive them until they stop trashing Elvis. I don't think they are. Lorraine. We need to stop them making money off books, the movies, everything they bring out. Well, of course, if they bring out a movie that trashes Elvis, we're going to react. If a book comes out that trashes Elvis, we're going to react. Yeah? So let's see what comes. Let's see what happens, yeah? I definitely agree people shouldn't be buying Priscilla's book because the way Priscilla has treated Elvis is disgusting. I have to buy the book because I will use it to defend. Yeah, I don't really have a choice. Let's have a look. I don't want to buy the book, but we need to pick out the lies so we can defend Elvis. Well, I agree. The fans of Elvis should not be buying Priscilla's book, 100%. Yeah, so Nancy, you said no, Louis, he hasn't stopped. He's still doing little shorts. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see them because I haven't seen any recent shorts. I've seen some that are a couple of years old, 5 years old. I've not seen any recent stuff. So please send it me. I see what you mean. The meet and greets. Fans have got to stop paying the meet and greets, and they charge so much. But yeah, I understand that. I will say this: that the interview I was sent of David Stanley at the Westgate, he was praising Priscilla. He was praising Priscilla and promoting her book. So I wasn't happy about that. But I agree. If the fans are upset with with Dave Stanley, then with the way that he has treated and trashed Elvis in the last 20, 30 years, yeah, they shouldn't go to his shows. I actually agree with that. Yeah, but Nancy, you just said David has just done a short about Elvis having a hitman, yeah? Now, obviously, we know the story with Mike Stone and stuff, but how do we know? Is this new? Is this new, or have you just stumbled on one that is recent? I'm on about, is he doing them in the last year or so? That's what I want to know. Yeah? Anything like that, I will definitely expose and defend. So I still think he hasn't done anything recently. I could be wrong. Yeah, but Nancy, send me the short so I can look at the date of it. Yeah? I need to see the dates of these shorts because I think they're probably a few years old. But if he has done one, then that is out of order. That is completely wrong if he has done one. Yes, I did, Louis. He has a long time history of being addicted to cocaine. He's a hypocrite because he always brings up Elvis's drugs. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And also, how good can Elvis's memories be? And no, sorry, how good can David Stanley's memories be if he was off his face on cocaine and heroin? Okay, Nancy, thanks. I need to see them. Okay, send me them. Send me them, yeah? Billy said that David is her tester. Brilliant. Anyway, all right, okay. We need to get on because remember I'm stopping these on every hour. And then we'll have a little break to make coffee. Let's have a look. So, how long? What time we got? So, okay, right. So, has everyone got a cup of tea? If you're waking up in America, good morning. Hope you had a good sleep. Welcome to all the people around the world. There's a lot of you in the UK now. Australia, Canada. Welcome to all of you. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to Team Elvis. And thanks to anyone that bought me a coffee or sent me a super thank you. Don't forget, our membership is only $1. It's $1 to be a member. Come on, guys. I'm worth $1. Thanks to all of you. Okay, right. Now, let me just get my Facebook up. So what I did... I've got a few things I'm planning on. Oh, let's have a look. Let me just tell we're live. Someone just messaged me. I'll just tell them we're live now. So hi Carolyn French, how are you? Thank you for your lovely messages. She says, so she says, I do enjoy your videos very much. It's usually my evening viewing my TV. I will always defend Elvis. I've always been very disappointed to see the personal private things they wrote about, as you say, some of them to be focusing on the nicer things. I hope this becomes the norm. Yeah, this is what we want. We want these family members, including the Smiths and the Stanleys and ex-girlfriends and ex-employees, to say nice stuff. We just have to keep defending Elvis's fans are bigger in numbers, and we have the right to do that. Keep up the great work. I feel it is working. It must be hitting their conscience. I do as well. I think we are making a difference. Thank you, Caroline French. Thank you very much. I actually think we are making a difference. We are a small channel, but I do think we're being noticed, 100%. So I've got a few things I'm going to play you. I've made a couple of videos this morning. I want to play both of those. But there was one little clip that, let's have a look. See if I've got it here a minute. No, I think what I'll do, I'll play the video. I'll play the video. Yeah. So we'll go to YouTube. Where are we? Your videos. Okay, let's do it. Let's play this one. Let's play the little short first. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's just play the short first, okay? Let's just play that a minute. 1 second. Morning, guys. We're going to be covering David Stanley today. We're going to try and find out why the fans are so upset with David Stanley, Elvis's stepbrother. See you later, guys.
I don't have a lot of Elvis records. I'm still not a huge Elvis fan. What is your favorite song then?
My favorite song by Elvis would probably be Jailhouse Rock.
So that got a reaction, of course. Let me just pause that. Billy Stanley, who spent his life making money from Elvis's name, trashing his stepbrother. He's not even a fan of Elvis. Just shocking, guys. Here we go. Listen to this.
Was Elvis on prescription drugs, illegal drugs too?
No, Elvis was on prescribed drugs. I was the one abusing heroin and cocaine. Elvis was very much against those things.
Let's see if we can do one that we can hear.
With us.
Was Elvis on prescription drugs, illegal drugs
not
too?
Let me hear that.
No, Elvis was on prescribed drugs. I was the one abusing heroin and cocaine. Elvis was very much against those things. As a matter of fact, we went to D.C. one time through the FBI building, and I had cocaine and heroin in the boot, and he was very much against those things. You kept on his life. I think he.
So you get this is worrying, guys, because he's there telling all these stories about how ill and sick and bad Elvis was, but his memories are tinted by he was off his face. Dave Stanley was off his face, so all of his memories, when I say off his face, on heroin, on cocaine. So his memories are a man that is stoned. But he will talk about Elvis in graphic detail, especially that last year leading up to his death. But this man is seeing the world from the point of view of a drugged up addict, drugged up on heroin and coke.
He'd probably still be with us.
Was Elvis on prescription drugs, illegal drugs too?
No, Elvis was on prescribed drugs. I was the one abusing heroin and cocaine. Elvis was very much against those things. As a matter of fact, we went to D.C. one time through the FBI building, and I had cocaine and heroin in the boot, and he was very much against those things.
So did you hear that? We all know this. Elvis was very much against street drugs. Very much against it. Elvis wasn't into his heroin and his coke. And said by Dave Stanley himself. I was an addict, stoned out of my head on heroin and coke. Elvis was completely against street drugs. Doesn't that just say it all to you guys? Doesn't that tell you that all of this is just so unfair to Elvis, that this is an injustice? So let me just... I want to play a couple of my YouTube videos now. All right, let's have a look. Let's get YouTube up. We're going to play some of the some of the Elvis's co-star, Suzanna Leigh. We're going to play some of that. Let me just get it up. Can you tell, guys, that I'm a little bit fed up with this? I'm a little bit... Elvis doesn't deserve this. I actually find it a bit upsetting. The more I do my research into how these people have discussed Elvis, their stepbrother, their family member, the person they grew up with, the person that treated them so well, gave them everything. But then I've been watching these interviews again and again and again of these people trashing him, including Dee. She says some pretty crap things. So does Ricky. It's just so sad, all of it. Right, and Elvis is up there in heaven, having to look down, and this was all going on since he died, more or less, and in front of Lisa Marie. This all went on in front of Lisa Marie. These guys and Dee trashed Elvis whilst Lisa Marie was here with us for decades. For decades, guys, making lots of money doing it again and again and again. It's like someone punching you in the gut every few seconds for decades. Could you imagine how Elvis feels, how Lisa feels, how the fans feel? I completely understand now why the fans are upset with the Smiths, with the Stanleys, because there was so much negative crap that was repeated again and again by these people that were very close to Elvis. But now these people are reinventing themselves as Christians, as saviors, as drug rehabilitation people, as motivational speakers. But they've done so much damage, so much damage. So let's just listen to this, just to remind everyone. This is just a reminder to everyone just how beautiful Elvis was, okay, guys?
Morning, guys. People ask me, why do you defend Elvis? Why does Team Elvis defend Elvis? I found this little clip on Defending EP on Instagram. What do you think, guys? Watch this.
Marveling at how kind, how nice, how respectful Elvis was at that time. I appreciated that big time, and I do to this day, respect.
How you think we got here?
I don't know, but if I was on mushrooms, I would think that fight actually happened. Elvis Presley versus Muhammad Ali.
That's beautiful, right? Elvis gave him that role. Elvis was a beautiful person in real life. You know? He wasn't the person people thought he was.
He was really nice to be in my family, you know. He was always teasing. I'd bring the kids by or bring them down to the house and,
Yes.
Hey, you guys get anything you want, you know, and just, you know, he just always good to his people. Yeah.
And but he was an awfully nice young man in those days. He always was a wonderfully nice young man, very caring person.
I think it really is that he was genuine. It was real. It wasn't false. It wasn't pretentious.
If you're going to do your first movie, how great to do it with someone as kind as Elvis, because I didn't know what they were talking about, you know. So he was just incredibly kind to me. He was like a younger brother, and he took care of me. He said, "Where's Mary Ann's chair?" And all of a sudden there were 3 chairs, not 1, 3, that had Mary Ann Mobley written on the back of it. And he made my first experience that could have been brutal very, very easy, very comforting, and he was always looking out for me.
So people ask me, why does Elvis need defending? Just watch this, guys. Just watch this. And you'll understand.
Whatever you hear about Elvis, about how handsome he was or how warm he was, there's no way you know how really true that actually was. He was amazing. And what surprised me about him is he never met a stranger. They weren't people with Elvis. They were individuals. And when he met you and talked to you, you thought you had already known him. He was just like, maybe he lived next door to you.
So guys, this is what the Stanleys should have done. This is what Dee should have done. This is what Billy Smith, Lamar Fike, Marty Lacker, Red West, Sonny West, Dave Hepler, all these people should have been doing with their lives. Yeah? This, exactly what we're watching now. But instead they take the cheap shot. The cheap shot is say the good bits and then trash him. Say the good bits, then trash him.
It was just an amazing thing that surprised me because he was such a big star, and that surprised me so much, is that we felt like we knew each other. And I think he had that feeling with about everybody that ever met him.
So I just love watching all.
See that? I think he had that feeling with about every person that ever met him.
These little clips, different people that were touched by Elvis's beauty inside and out. Of course he needs defending. The world doesn't fully know the true Elvis, and we're just doing our little bit here at Defending Elvis, Team Elvis, to show the world how great this man was. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Take care.
So obviously the sound quality is a bit crap there, but we're just doing our little bit, aren't we? Small little channel, Defending Elvis, Louis in southwest UK near Bristol, in his kitchen, surrounded by his books. We wake up every day, we come together, we defend Elvis. We want the world to know how amazing Elvis was. That's all we want, guys. We want the world to see the good that Elvis did, the lovely man that he was, how beautiful he was inside and out. Everyone that met Elvis loved him, loved being near him, loved how kind he was, how gracious he was. So when so I'm going to play another clip now. So you've got Suzanna Leigh on a Terry Wogan show. And Dave Stanley's there. He says a few nice things. But then he very quickly is taken down the route of trashing Elvis, constantly bringing up the prescription medication, the prescribed medication, the drugs, the fact that Elvis had abused drugs. He very quickly, David Stanley is going to trash Elvis, and he's going to get paid to do it on a national TV watched by millions of people. Elvis's stepbrother, who tries to say he loves Elvis and is proud to say that he grew up with Elvis and spent 17 years with Elvis, even though we don't know the ins and outs of how well Elvis got on with these people, do we? The Stanleys try to talk as if they were really got on well with Elvis. Who knows? Maybe they did as children, but when they become adults, teenagers, who knows what really went on? I doubt it's a great story. I bet you there's a lot of things we don't know about how well Elvis got on with these people, on and off. So Dave Stanley decides he's going to trash Elvis on public TV for money. For money. He's on a crusade to make as much money as he can through trashing Elvis at the expense of Elvis's image and reputation. And then we have lovely Suzanne Leigh. Let me show you Suzanne Leigh. She's amazing. I'm going to show you a little bit of footage of her with Elvis. She truly loves Elvis. It's so obvious she loves Elvis. You can't hide it. Now watch this, guys. It's only a little 10-second clip. Now I'm going to show you how Suzanna Leigh, jumps in to defend Elvis. She doesn't let Dave Stanley control the interview with Terry Wogan way back in the UK. Back in the UK, isn't that song? She jumps in. Let's have a look. This is a beautiful lady. I think she may even still be alive. Is she still alive, guys? Because I want to thank her. Does anyone know? Should I look it up? Suzanna Leigh. Let's see if she's still alive, because I want to thank her. She's a hero. Suzanne Leigh, if you're alive, Suzanna Leigh, the co-star of Elvis, you are a hero. You are a hero. And you deserve a medal for jumping in and messing things up for Dave Stanley, who was enjoying trashing Elvis. Let's have a look. Suzanne, we need more Suzanna Leighs in this world. And you're going to understand when I show you when I show you her defending Elvis, right? Right. Oh no, she has passed. So she died on the 11th of December 2017. She was born on the 26th of July 1945. So rest in peace, Suzanna Leigh. Thank you so much for defending Elvis. Thank you so much for being there for Elvis. I'm going to post this. You are a hero. Your family should know that, should be proud of you, and what a decent woman you were, the way you stood up for Elvis. I'm going to post it on, I'm going to post it here. I'm going to put it on my chat, and I'm going to put it on Facebook. You're a hero in my eyes. There's not enough people other than the fans, obviously Elvis fans, we defend, don't we? Yeah? There's not enough people defending Elvis in this world. Not enough. If anything, there are many people that make it their mission to trash Elvis. Even some Elvis fans don't want to defend Elvis. Some Elvis channels don't want to defend Elvis. Shame on you. To all the channels of Elvis fans, Elvis channels that tell us we shouldn't be defending, shame on you. Shame on you. You're a disgrace. Right. Okay, I've just posted her picture. Right. Now you're going to understand when I play this clip, you're going to understand, guys. So there she is. Let's make sure you can see that. Let's make it a bit bigger. This woman is a hero. She is a hero. In this interview, you have Dave Stanley, who wants to just sit there and make his money trashing Elvis. And then this lady, she didn't even have to. She couldn't stop herself. She knew Elvis. She met him. She spent a lot of time with him. She worked with him for months. She knew the true Elvis. She knew how lovely Elvis was. She's not going to let Dave Stanley have his 15 minutes of fame on the Terry Wogan show and trash Elvis, make Elvis out to be some kind of strung out addict, druggie. You're going to be impressed, guys. I'm just quickly looking at your comments. Oh, thanks, Emily. Thank you very much. I'm just quickly going through your comments. Yeah, they're backstabbers. Dancing on his grave. That's how ridiculous it is. You're right, guys. I can't feel sorry for these people. I can't. We will forgive them. We have to, because Elvis would want us to forgive them. But we want apologies. We want these people to show regret. Yeah, there we are, Jane. If the Memphis Mafia, you know, obviously some of them were okay, weren't they? Larry's okay. Charlie Hodge is okay. Jerry Schilling, not so much. Well, I'm actually very disappointed with Jerry Schilling, but that will be on a separate topic. Yeah, like Emily says, when they trash Elvis, they project themselves. Very true. Very true, Emily. And welcome, Emily. How are you? So I'm just quickly reading your comments. Right. Elvis has a generous, all these charities, should they, what a good man he was. Yeah, the world needs to know. Hi, Heavenly, how are you? So we're just about to play a video. I think you're going to enjoy this. Many of you have seen this before. A lot of you have brought this video to my attention. 100%. Let me just... 100% Nancy definitely brought this to my attention as well. Many of you have. This has been brought up many times because she defends. This lady defends Elvis. So let me just get it up. Let's get it up, guys. Let's go back. So this is the video I made this morning. Sorry about the sound quality. There's a bit of a problem on... Morning. Sorry about the sound quality on this, but you're going to like it, guys. Let's just get it on the screen so you can see it. So we're going to have a good day today, Darkgate. Today, guys. We're doing a lot of lives today because my wife's out all day and it's raining. So it means I'm home all day. We will do a couple of dog walks as well. But we are going to do a lot of lives. We're here for... This is going to be a long morning. Okay, guys? We got a lot to go through. So, are we ready? Let me just quickly check your comments. Now, this is what I call a defender of Elvis. She's just sat there on an interview. She could have kept her mouth shut. She could have said nothing. But no. She interrupts David Stanley, who's on a mission to trash Elvis to make money. For money. She interrupts his flow of motion. So I'm going to press play. I want to make it big because she deserves. She deserves. Right, are you ready, guys? Here goes.
Morning, guys. Just having a cup of tea. I think it's so interesting how this woman jumps in, interrupts David Stanley, telling his story. She wants to defend him. She wants to do right by Elvis. She met him. She knew the true Elvis. Watch the twists and turns of this interview, guys. Very interesting.
But you were there throughout the good times and the bad. For a young man, as part of the entourage, because there were drugs.
It got difficult.
Elvis was one of the least drug takers. I mean, in the 60s when I was there, if you don't mind me butting in, I mean, my goodness, I mean, Elvis really, I mean, no way.
Well, anyway, 1970.
Well, what about in the 70s?
In 1972, Elvis was very hot. His concerts were unbelievable throughout the States.
Now remember, guys, this is Elvis's stepbrother. Elvis did everything for David, everything. Completely transformed his life. Let's hear how David talks about his own stepbrother.
Yeah. But in 1974 and 75, there was a slow decline physically. And because of his grueling schedule on tour, he got involved in medication prescribed by physicians. Mm-hmm. And he would take 1 or 2 to sleep, 1 or 2 to wake up, which was fine with a grueling schedule like Presley had. But because of a physician who felt that there was money to be made, instead of pulling back, he gave him more and more and more. Use went to abuse. And again, the physician didn't take the care or the time to say, Elvis, you need to back off, you need to slow down. Instead, more and more and more. And it's been written, it's no big surprise that Elvis got involved in heavy drugs. Some 5,000 pills prescribed 6 months before he died. Now, no one needs that type of medication, but here was a doctor who saw a gold mine and took advantage of it. And Elvis, who had become somewhat addicted, justified the fact that he was taking drugs by his name being on the bottle. He would catch me at that time. I was heavily involved in drugs. David, if you do that, you're off this hill. David, if I catch you ever do that again, I'm going to fire you. You'll never come around again. But yet,
so remember, look, we hear what's happening, yeah. Even then, David Stanley, he trips himself up because even then, he's letting the world know without, and he does it unintentionally. Elvis was against street drugs. Elvis was against hard drugs. Let's keep going, guys.
he could take it because justification was, this has been prescribed to me. Elvis was a victim of circumstance, and he had a little boy trust in doctors that ultimately took...
And I love this woman. I love how she jumps in now and defends Elvis and tells the world what was really going on.
So just 1 second before I carry on with that, I want to quickly show you this woman. Come on, let's honor her. She deserves it. She's a hero. Let's see if I can find it. Just a very tiny little clip, guys. Let's just make sure it's up. Yep. You won't hear anything, but let's watch her. She's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful lady. Suzanne Leigh. She's a hero. Right, so let's go back to YouTube. Where are we? Okay, let me just make sure you guys can see it. So this woman had nothing to gain by defending Elvis. She could have said nothing. She could have said nothing, just let Dave do his thing. Yeah? But no, because she knew it. She knew how lovely Elvis was. How kind and caring and loving and generous and charming and helpful, respectful. He treated everyone as equals. He treated everyone as equals. He wasn't this jumped up star on the movie set. He made everyone feel comfortable. So because of that, because of the connection she had with Elvis, Suzanne Leigh, she felt something here to defend Elvis in her heart. To defend Elvis, and she jumps in and interferes with David Stanley's betrayal of his stepbrother. Let's play the rest of it, guys.
Elvis's own stepbrother is trashing him on TV to millions of people for money. For money. His stepbrother. Imagine the life that Elvis gave David Stanley. And this lovely lady, this co-star of Elvis, who knew Elvis very well.
So let's read this bit. Captivated by her beauty, he cast her opposite Tony Curtis in Boeing and sent her to Hawaii to play Elvis Presley's love interest in 1966's Paradise, Hawaii. The rock and roll star whom Leigh once called a fabulous actor became a firm friend. No, there was no love interest here. This was just a friendship.
Wants to defend Elvis and tell the world what the true Elvis was like. He was very unwell. He was sick. He needed medication. Let's listen.
His life. But he also believed that he had a very bad illness.
Right, guys. We're going to do part 2 in a minute. I will play this out and then we're going to come back and do part 2. So she doesn't have to do this. Dave Stanley's trying to tell the world, remember, tens of millions would have been watching this, that Elvis is an addict, you know, a druggie, whatever, yeah? Abused medication. And she jumps in and said, no, he's ill. He's not well. He had an illness. He may have had colon cancer. You get it? She didn't have to. She wasn't even facing him. If you look at the way she's sat, she's facing away from him. She could have just said nothing and left him to it. But no, she feels pulled to defend Elvis. She feels like a yearning of like jumping in and sticking up for her friend Elvis that was so kind to her, that was such a lovely man. Let's go back again. Let's go back a bit. Are you ready, guys? Now really watch this. This is why Suzanne Leigh is a hero. She is a hero. She deserves a medal for this.
Tell the world what the true Elvis was like. He was very unwell. He was sick. He needed medication. Let's listen.
His life. But he also believed that he had a very bad illness, because he told me he had a very bad illness and that was covered by drugs. And maybe the doctor...
Remember, he told her. Elvis told her that he was sick. He was very sick.
Doctors told him he had a very bad illness. I mean, I remember 10 years ago when he died, I spent 3 hours on all networks all over the thing, and I was convinced, mainly because he was convinced, that he had cancer of the colon.
That is true. That is true. Elvis was in a tremendous amount.
Now here we go, look. So I'm going to play this section again. So David Stanley agrees with her. She says he had cancer of the colon. And David Stanley jumps in, agrees with her. Now, this is how I see what's happening here. She's interrupted Dave. She's making him look silly. She's making him look like he's bashing Elvis, his stepbrother. She's jumping in, trying to defend Elvis, trying to say how lovely Elvis was, how he was sick, he needed his medication. So this completely changes the whole flow of the interview. Instead of the interview being about trashing Elvis, she, because of her input, because she butts in, he then goes on a different tangent and starts to praise Elvis and say how nice Elvis was, because she's making him look bad. This is how I see it, guys. She's making him look bad. You can see it in his body language, in his eye contact. You can tell he's like, shit, Suzanne ain't going to let me trash Elvis. She's making me look bad in front of millions. Dave Stanley knew that this was being watched by millions of people. Terry Wogan was massive, yeah, in those days. So he's like, shit, I need to make good of this. I need to put this right. So then he starts praising Elvis. He starts praising Elvis. Watch how the whole interview turns, where he tries to recover, where he tries to do damage limitation. He tries to recover I'm going to play this section again, then we're going to stop and do part 2, guys.
Out of a pain at the end of his life. And his schedule, you just can't imagine. You know, like most rock and rollers go out, do a show, off a week, off 2 days, off at least a day. Elvis was out every single night, 21-day tours, off a week, another 21-day tour. And it was physically wearing him down. And there is talk and proof now that Elvis had some colon cancer.
There is talk and proof that Elvis had some colon cancer. Now, how many times have you ever seen David Stanley bring up the fact that Elvis was sick, that he had cancer, colon cancer, any kind of medical problems? Almost never. Almost never. The only reason he starts to agree with her is because she's exposed him and made him look bad. I challenge you to find me a video where David Stanley in the last 20 odd years, 30 years, maybe 40 years, says Elvis was sick, chronically sick, health problems like colon cancer, medical problems. She pushes him. So he's trying to damage, mitigate, damage control. He's trying to go, shit, this woman is making me look bad. I need to turn this around so the public don't hate me as much. I give Suzanne Leigh a round of applause. One of the few times Elvis was defended publicly on TV to millions of people. Suzanne Leigh.
Cancer and was in a great deal of pain, and yet he would never slow down, and he would continue to push on, and because he loved to make people happy.
Come on, guys. It's damage limitation. This woman jumps into the interview and completely changes the course of this interview and defends Elvis because she loves him. She defends him. His own step-brother trashes him, and she puts him in his place. He then does a U-turn and tries to praise Elvis. Remember, David Stanley trashed Elvis for money. For money.
That's right.
I loved what you said about the smile on someone's face. It couldn't have been said better. And he loved to do that to the fans. He may not be...
Look at the smile on her face. She is so happy that he now is starting to say nice things. Like he's just said, oh, the smile on Elvis's face. Look at her beaming. Beaming because she loves it when David is saying nice things. And secretly, she had him. She had him. She exposed him. She knocked him off his tracks. She knocked him off his tracks and completely turned the whole thing around.
Be able to give something physically to him, but he gave himself.
Oh yes.
And the people,
that voice.
the voice, and the smile was on the face, and that made him happy.
Elvis's co-star deserves a medal. Seriously, guys. In front of millions of people, there would have been millions of people watching that. She's there for Elvis. She is there for Elvis. And she puts Dave Stanley in his place, who went on to trash Elvis again and again and again for money. For money.
Again and again and again for money. That's exactly what he did. Dave Stanley, again and again for money. You can go through YouTube and you will find dozens of things Dave trashing Elvis. For money. For money. His stepbrother that he grew up with. Oh, I spent 17 years with Elvis. I know better. Don't tell me about Elvis. I know better. I was there. This is a historical event. He calls his Facebook events, you know, at the hotel, a historical event because I was there. He's so up himself. He thinks so much of himself. He's so self-important. He gets hero worshipped in the Westgate Hotel. He forgets his place. He is nothing special. David Stanley, you are nothing special. You are not Elvis. Just because these people hero worship you because you were around Elvis You have mistreated Elvis on so many levels. You should be ashamed of yourself. It's disgusting. I'm going to play this one more time just to expose how disgusting you are when it comes to how you've treated Elvis. How you've, off the back of Elvis, have made money again and again and again. You've crusaded yourself as some kind of drug savior at the expense of Elvis's image and reputation. Shame on you. I don't care how many times you've apologized and changed your story and wrote different books and backtracked on your mistakes. This ridiculous thing where you say Elvis committed suicide. You say it again and again. Elvis committed suicide. You say it again and again. Shame on you. And part 2 of this, we're going to discuss David Stanley repeatedly saying that Elvis tried to committed suicide. We're going to play this one more time, and then I'm going to read your comments, then we'll go in for part 2.
So interesting how this woman jumps in, interrupts David Stanley, telling his story. She wants to defend him. She wants to do right by Elvis. She met him. She knew the true Elvis. Watch the twists and turns of this interview, guys. Very interesting.
But you were there throughout the good times and the bad. For a young man as part of the entourage, because there were drugs.
It got difficult.
Elvis was one of the least drug takers. I mean, in the 60s when I was there, if you don't mind me butting in, I mean, my goodness, I mean, Elvis really, I mean, no way.
Well, anyway, 1970.
Well, what about in the 70s?
In 1972, Elvis was very hot. His concerts were unbelievable throughout the States.
Now remember, guys, this is Elvis's stepbrother. Elvis did everything for David, everything. Completely transformed his life. Let's hear how David talks about his own stepbrother.
Yeah. But in 1974 and 75, there was a slow decline physically. And because of his grueling schedule on tour, he got involved in medication prescribed by physicians. And he would take 1 or 2 to sleep, 1 or 2 to wake up, which was fine with a grueling schedule like Presley had. But because of a physician who felt that there was money to be made, instead of pulling back, he gave him more and more and more. Use went to abuse. And again, the physician didn't take the care or the time to say, Elvis, you need to back off, you need to slow down. Instead, more and more and more. And it's been written, it's no big surprise that Elvis got involved in heavy drugs. Some 5,000 pills prescribed 6 months before he died. Now, no one needs that type of medication, but here was a doctor who saw a gold mine and took advantage of it. And
here she comes, the savior, Elvis's savior. Come on, Suzanne.
And Elvis, who had become somewhat addicted, justified the fact that he was taking drugs by his name being on the bottle. He would catch me. At that time, I was heavily involved in drugs. David, if you do that, you're off this hill. David, if I catch you ever do that again, I'm going to fire you. You'll never come around again. But yet, he could take it because justification was, this has been prescribed to me. Elvis was a victim of circumstance, and he had a little boy trust in doctors that ultimately took...
And I love this woman. I love how she jumps in now and defends Elvis.
Yes.
And tells the world what was really going on. Elvis's own stepbrother is trashing him on TV to millions of people for money. For money. His stepbrother. Imagine the life that Elvis gave David Stanley. And this lovely lady, this co-star of Elvis, who knew Elvis very well, wants to defend Elvis and tell the world what the true Elvis was like. He was very unwell. He was sick. He needed medication. Let's listen.
His life.
But he also believed that he had a very bad illness, because he told me he had a very bad illness and that was covered by drugs. And maybe the doctors told him he had a very bad illness. I mean, I remember 10 years ago when he died, I spent 3 hours on all networks all over the thing, and I was convinced, mainly because he was convinced, that he had cancer of the colon.
That is true. That is true. Elvis was in a tremendous amount of pain at the end of his life. And his schedule, you just can't imagine. You know, like most rock and rollers go out, do a show, off a week, off 2 days, off at least a day. Elvis was out every single night, 21-day tours, off a week, another 21-day tour. And it was physically wearing him down. And there is talk and proof now that Elvis had some colon cancer and was in a great deal of pain. And yet he would never slow down, and he would continue to push on, and because he loved to make people happy.
Come on, guys. It's damage limitation. This woman jumps into the interview and completely changes the course of this interview and defends Elvis because she loves him. She defends him. His own step-brother trashes him, and she puts him in his place. He then does a U-turn and tries to praise Elvis. Remember, David Stanley trashed Elvis for money. For money.
That's right.
I loved what you said about the smile on someone's face. It couldn't have been said better. And he loved to do that to the fans. He may not be able to give something physically to him, but he gave himself.
Oh, yes.
And the people,
that voice.
The voice and the smile was on the face, and that made him happy.
Elvis's co-star deserves a medal. Seriously, guys. In front of millions of people, there would have been millions of people watching that. She's there for Elvis. She is there for Elvis. And she puts Dave Stanley in his place, who went on to trash Elvis again and again and again for money. For money.
For money, as Mystic says. We'll put a sign behind my back for money. So, I think I've made my point. I don't think David Stanley's going to be happy with me. David Stanley, we want regrets. We want apologies. We want you to stop using Elvis's name to support your drug rehabilitation motivational speeches. Spend the rest of your life praising Elvis, showing the world how great Elvis was. Stop talking about drugs and pills. Why are you so obsessed with Elvis's death, the end of his life? The fact in the past that you have said Elvis committed suicide is disgusting. Disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourselves. In part 2, we are going to discuss David Stanley trying to tell the world that Elvis tried to kill himself. That Elvis did kill himself. David Stanley, she exposed you. Suzanna Leigh, she exposed you. She put you in your place. And you tried to get through it, get past it. Suzanna Leigh, you are a hero. You are a hero. God rest in peace, Suzanna. Rest in peace. So guys, I'll be back soon. I'll be back in 15 minutes. Okay, guys? So there's 50 of you watching. I'll be back in 15 minutes. Thanks, guys. Thank you. See you in 15 minutes. And let's all pay homage to Suzanna Leigh, Elvis's co-star. Suzanna Leigh. She's a hero. Thanks, guys.